Hello, friend of karmic affinity. Have you ever wondered why we always promise ourselves that this year will definitely be different? But then, just a few short weeks after the fireworks have faded, everything seems to return to the exact starting line? The old habits, the old anxieties, and even that familiar sense of emptiness remain intact, regardless of the calendar on the wall changing to 2026. Please do not rush to blame yourself for a lack of effort or for being weak. The profound truth we need to recognize does not lie in willpower. There is an important truth I want to send to you right now. Suffering repeats not because time does not pass, but because our minds remain exactly as they were. A new year will never truly be new if we still carry an old consciousness. Today, let us go deep into the roots of the mind to truly step into a new chapter of life. Fixed identity is your prison. Let us look deep into the root cause that imprisons us in old cycles. Do you often say to yourself things like, "I am a hot-tempered person," "I am an anxious person," or "I am someone who always fails in relationships"? We often believe these statements describe the truth of who we are. But under the light of awakening, these are the very bricks that build the prison surrounding you. A fleeting thought, when repeated enough, becomes a belief. And that belief gradually hardens into what is called your identity or self. You label yourself and then unconsciously live a replica of that label for your entire life. The Buddha pointed out that the deep source of suffering lies not in the outside world, but in the attachment to a fixed self. We suffer because we believe we are an immutable rock that cannot change. We strive to protect that old image, even though it causes us pain and exhaustion. But my dear friend, you are not your thoughts, nor are you your past failures. Identifying yourself with a rigid identity is the invisible chain preventing you from stepping into the freshness of 2026. To find freedom, the first step is to realize that this self is merely a story woven by the mind. Impermanence is the door of hope. Once you recognize the prison of identity, the key to opening that door is an understanding of impermanence. Many people fear impermanence because they think of it as loss or separation. But look at it from another direction. Impermanence means nothing lasts forever, including your pain and your failure. Impermanence is actually the greatest good news because it allows change to occur. If everything were fixed, a seed would forever remain a seed and could never grow into a tall, shading tree. If human beings were immutable, you would be forever stuck in the old version of yesterday. It is thanks to impermanence that transformation can happen. Practice a small linguistic miracle right now. Instead of saying, "I cannot do it," add just one word, "yet." Instead of saying, "I am a failure," say, "I have not succeeded at this moment." That word "yet" is the embodiment of impermanence in language. It opens a vast space for growth. It reminds you that the current state is only temporary, not a life sentence. When you view life through the eyes of flow, you will feel the burden on your shoulders become light. You are not a finished monument. You are a flowing river, always fresh and full of undiscovered possibilities. Failure is information, not a sentence. Following the flow of change, let us look back at the stumbles of the past year with completely new eyes. There is a truth that humans often make themselves suffer twice. The first time is when the failure occurs. That is, inevitable pain. But the second time, which is many times more painful, is when we judge ourselves, regarding that failure as a life sentence, confirming our own inadequacy. But my dear friend, try to detach yourself from that emotion for a moment. From the perspective of wisdom and the law of cause and effect, failure does not define your human worth. Failure is actually just feedback information. It is the most honest data telling you that the necessary conditions have not yet converged enough for the desired result to bloom. Just as sowing a seed that hasn't grown yet isn't because the sower is terrible, but perhaps because the soil isn't moist enough, the sun isn't bright enough, or the timing isn't right. When you view failure as a source of data instead of an indictment, torment will vanish, making room for deep understanding. You will shift from the agonizing question of, "Why am I so bad?" to the more constructive question of, "Which causes and conditions do I need to adjust for a better result?" That is how we turn obstacles into solid steps to climb higher in this new year. Take the lesson and move forward gently. Discomfort is a signal of growth. My dear friend, as we begin to change old habits to enter the new year, an uninvited guest will surely visit discomfort. Our natural reflex is to want to flee immediately. We often mistakenly believe that discomfort is a red alert signal, showing we are on the wrong path, and that happiness is supposed to be always smooth and pleasant. Please stop and look deep into that feeling. Discomfort is not an enemy. It is a welcome signal of growth. It appears when the old attachments in your consciousness are touched and shaken. The old ego is struggling because it fears change, and the old habits are resisting before being replaced. Engrave into your heart that growth and comfort never coexist in the same room. Just as a lobster must endure pain to cast off its cramped shell to grow, your soul also needs the pains of molting to reach a new height. If you feel unsteady or tired, do not be afraid. Rejoice inwardly because it proves you are climbing uphill. Do not turn back to the old comfort zone. Have the courage to go through the discomfort, because on the other side of it lies the most free and brilliant version of yourself that you are seeking. The power of non-reaction to criticism. My dear friend, on the journey of the new year, there will certainly be times when you encounter disagreeable words, misunderstandings, or unkind remarks. The natural reflex of the ego is to immediately bristle in self-defense, to argue, and to prove itself right. But the very moment you react with anger, you have accidentally handed the control of your emotions over to someone else. Instead of letting instinct lead, practice a golden rule of mindfulness. Pause, observe, and do not react. When a storm of emotion hits, allow yourself to stop for a few breaths. Observe the discomfort rising within, but do not act on its urging. Please understand correctly that non-reaction is absolutely not suppression or weak submission. Suppression is swallowing anger inside so that it destroys you. Non-reaction is standing apart, watching the anger like a dark cloud passing through the sky of consciousness. You give it space to dissolve on its own without clinging to it. When you can maintain composure amidst praise and blame, that is when you possess the most profound inner strength. You do not need to win every argument. You only need to win the battle of preserving your own serenity. Trust in invisible progress. My dear friend, as we begin to sow new seeds for 2026, there will be times you feel discouraged because you do not see immediate results. Our ego always craves tangible achievements, things that can be measured like money, fame, or spectacular external changes. When it doesn't see those things, it will whisper that you are standing still. But in the world of practice, true progress happens in silence and invisibility, much like the root system of a tree spreading deep within the dark earth. You do not see the roots grow every day, but it is that invisible root system that determines the vitality and steadiness of the tree before a storm. Therefore, this year, change your measure of success. Do not measure progress by what you achieve. Measure it by your degree of awareness. Instead of blaming yourself for not being perfect, ask yourself every weekend, how many times this week did I recognize my anger before it flared up? Or how many times did I remember to return, to take refuge in my breath when anxious? As long as you are aware, even if you haven't stopped it yet, that is already a giant leap forward. Awareness is light. Do not force the flower of the soul to bloom the moment you sow the seed. Trust absolutely in the invisible transformation occurring powerfully in your every cell every day. Be patient, for the best things always need time to ripen. My dear friend, closing today's journey, I want to tell you that great change does not necessarily come from earth-shattering efforts. It starts from the smallest quiet moments. Do not pressure yourself to completely transform by tomorrow. As long as you spend 5 minutes each day sitting still with yourself, or perform a pause to breathe before reacting, that is already a revolution of consciousness. Engrave into your heart that the new year 2026 does not truly begin when the calendar on the wall falls. The new year only truly begins at the moment you decide to set down the old burdens in your mind, to live fully in the present. Do not wait for time to heal you. Proactively heal your own time with awareness. There is a quote from the Buddha that I want to give you. As the most precious luggage to carry with you, you only lose what you cling to. When you dare to let go of old identities and old fears, you do not lose yourself. On the contrary, that is when you open your heart to receive the vast universe and the fresh opportunities rushing in. Let go to be free. If this video has touched your heart, bringing you a bit of light and faith, please sow a seed of connection by pressing the like button and subscribing, so we can continue the journey together. And especially, leave a comment sharing an old belief or a habit that you are determined to let go of this year. Your sharing is the most powerful commitment sent to the universe. Wishing you a new year of peace in body and mind, steady and at ease. Goodbye, and see you again.